Thank you, everyone. Thank you for attending another episode of the Two Texas T's podcast. I'm your co-host, Don, with my co-host, Lawson. Today, we're going to get into business, technology, allegations, and more. Stay tuned. So we are recording. Welcome, everyone. Welcome to another episode of the Two Texas T's podcast. But we already have an opening. You already know who we are. This is episode 3. But you were saying before we began that, and I was going to ask you, so you just have ideas, artistic ideas that just like flow. And then do you wake up in the middle of the night and you write things down in a notebook and you're like, oh, this would be a great idea. And then you go about it doing that. What's your artistic like method?
It's between like I'll have like Pinterest boards, and it's like I like look for like, you know, for example, like this, like I'm like, okay, I need to like get an idea. Like I'm like, I have the idea in my head, but one, has somebody already created it? Because if somebody's already created it, then I'd rather pay that artist than have to like reinvent a wheel. Or I'm like, okay, how can I like, what is the process to like creating a cameo or like how am I going to sand this like 300-pound piece of furniture and still be able to keep my attention on wanting to sand this 300, because patience is my worst nightmare. I'm not a patient person because I have the vision and I know what I want, and I'm afraid that if it take like one part of the process takes me too long, then we're not going to finish it, because I don't want to sand. I don't want to sand for 4 hours. I only want to sand for the 30 minutes that the TikTok video said it was going to take.
Oh, okay. So there's a guide. You know?
There's a guide. And so like I usually have like Pinterest boards of like vision boards of what I want. And then unfortunately for me and my home's bank account, I live very close to like a Home Depot.
Oh, no,
so then I go to Home
to
Depot. Oh man, they don't though. They like, so like I go to the Home Depot and I'm like getting like swashes. Like I get like little sample paints of like different things so I can see what kind of colors I want. Or we're also really close to like a few art stores or like art material stores. And so I'll go and I'll like, I learn, like I said, I like, so this is my new piece in my office. We no longer have white padded walls on this podcast. We're very proud of this.
As you can see. Oh,
and
no,
so
hold on.
like,
No.
Well, you have some things on the side of Don is a work in progress, and we love that for him.
Exactly.
But like I did this, and it's lyrics from a Taylor Swift a song from her Reputation album, because I am a rep girly on Taylor Swift. But this is foil, and so I had to like learn how to like lay the foil and this took so long. It was so long. And so if you need a moment to like woo-saw and decompress, totally do something that takes forever. But I was not in that moment of my life at that point. So I had to like do it. And then I had to do it at a point where like I knew I was going to be gone for like 3 hours. So that way when I came back, it was a big surprise. Like, oh my God, I get to like scratch this off. And it's like really like, it actually was like one of those like, what is it? It was a satisfying moment to like have to like scratch it off, and it was great. It was a great thing. But yes, I did this.
In your ranking of all the artwork that you've done, out of 10, what would you do the piece behind you?
Hey everyone, thank you for coming to our ad break. This is for all the folks that would love to be a part of our Two Texas Tea podcast in a way such as sponsoring. So if you are interested in wanting to be a part of the podcast and share your information about your business or what you're doing, you can always send us your inquiry or your interest by going to emailing us on our email address right here below, or following us on social media and sending us a message, or checking out our website. So we hope to hear from you soon, and we would love to be able to showcase what you're doing.
This one will probably be a 7, because it was a lot of like, it came together so quickly, and didn't really require a lot of like my like a lot of work. And it all started because I thrifted this frame for $6, and I needed a piece.
That's all you need.
So this was the genesis of the piece.
It is fan. You know, I don't know why the art museum, and I don't know where they source their pieces from, the art museum in San Antonio, but I mean, I feel like they should go out to the community, because there are people that just like amazing artists, but they don't get the attention that they deserve. So I honestly feel like, you know, maybe if there's any city official listening to this, maybe we should have like an art gallery full of like people just like, I'm in San Antonio. I'm not really a publicly known artist, but there are things that I have created that I would like to put on display. And we go that way.
Yeah, absolutely. Love that. We also got bangs since the last time.
Yes, you do. Yes, you do.
Yes.
So the story behind the bangs is that
transition.
She's been identified because she was so famous doing the podcast, and then she's like, I just gotta change the look. We have sponsors from like Estee Lauder and Chanel. Is that
what's really funny is the lore behind the bangs was I was taking Luke to school and Ella Langley had come on my radio and I was like, I wonder what her forehead looks like. And so then I went to go see what her forehead looked like to see we had similar foreheads, and turns out we did. So then this all circles back to like some of the topics that we talk about here. So then I asked ChatGPT to take one of the photos that I had of myself and give me similar bangs to Ella Langley without changing anything of my face. Like, don't change my forehead to fit the bangs. Like, I gave it very explicit details. And I liked it. So then that's when I like sent the photo. I think, Don, I sent it to you too. Like, I sent it to several, there were several different committees that I sent this photo to be think? Like, should I do this?
Yes.
What do y'all think? Like, what's the vibe? And everybody had like positive reviews, and honestly, jokes on all of y'all, because if y'all were just trying to be nice to me, well, guess what? Like, your girl took scissors to her hair. So then everybody was just like, oh, they look great. Like, you should do it, whatever. So then I saw one TikTok video, on how to cut your own bangs. That was it. Just one. And I was like, all right, well, it's a hair wash day, so we're going to just go for it. So literally washed my hair, watched the TikTok video a lot, because I also did like, I started off like up to my nose. Like, I was like, okay, we're going to go here. And then, cause I was like, I can still cut, but like, if you cut too much, like there's nothing, like, can't fix it. And so I did it. And then like, I gave myself like shaggy layers too. So like everything like blends and it looks great. And then I walked downstairs and Larry's like, they look really good. I can't believe I can't believe you did that. I'm like, thanks. Like, again, everybody just seems to like, it's been interesting. They're like I was telling you when we were trying to set up all the stuff before, like people are like, you look really pretty. And I'm just like, what does that mean? Did I not look really pretty before? They're just like,
trying to say? Is it a backhanded compliment?
Yeah, it was a little bit, I think, but it's okay because apparently now I'm pretty. But yeah, so I used ChatGPT to figure out if I should give myself bangs.
And we can segue into our first kind of topic. It is AI in Texas. And before, like, there was a couple episodes ago, and I guess it's been an ongoing narrative for those of y'all who've been around, is that for instance, I am a Slytherin, and I guess I favor the Sith. And then I guess my astronomical sign is I believe it's Aries.
Astrology sign.
Astrology, yes. Sorry, my bad. Astrology sign is Aries. So apparently, I have been one to use ChatGPT, Claude, and Gemini for what you're supposed to do, which is like work-related things. But we feel like a lot of people over the course of the last few years since AI has been in our lives, started asking various AI agents just a little bit more intimate and a little bit more personal things, to the point where I saw a news article on Reddit that said that some guy was getting a job and his employer during an interview asked him to open up his ChatGPT. So it becomes a point where you're like, I don't really want to, like, how personal am I with my ChatGPT? What type of questions do I ask it? And I guess one of the things we both decided to do was like put in those three, I guess, signs and kind of like come to a conclusion, like, what does that mean about the individual? So let me go ahead and find mine. Do you have yours?
What we did? I do. What we did was we asked to compare, like, or give us like a full, like, basically personality characteristic breakdown based on our Hogwarts house, our astrology sign, and where we stand in like the Star Wars universe. And I thought they were pretty like on point. And I mean, the universe needs to be very scared that we're like, we know each other, and because like we could literally take over the world, and
I'm just saying,
not anybody. And nobody would know that they have just been influenced to follow us. Like, literally, like, we're just like breadcrumbs. Like, we were like masterminds. It was a great, kind of scary. So yes, what does yours say? Tell the world.
So mine, again, Slytherin, Aries, and a Sith. I guess gravitate towards the Sith is what I put in Gemini.
Yes.
And it says I'm a pragmatic visionary. So basically, pragmatic visionary, I'm an engine of action, and also I'm freedom through strength is kind of what I am. So in short, I am a plotter. I'm very independent, and I am a very action-oriented person. And there's one more. I'm an intense friend. So I'm someone who will be your friend, and I will get along with you well. But if I start to sense BS, anything you're doing or saying, I kind of will pull back. I think the funniest one was the overarching, like the pragmatic visionary. Basically, obviously, we know Slytherin and Sith are kind of like two of the negatives, and I guess you may be infer like, okay, why does Don like why do I gravitate towards these things? But Gemini, for its word, was trying to be nice. So it was like, you likely view the world through a lens of what can be achieved rather than what is fair, and it doesn't necessarily mean evil. And I feel like that is very me. Like, I often approach situations, problems, things, society, and say, this is how things are, but I wonder how things could be. And then I go off and maybe I'll write things down as far as new ideas, or I'll go try to change little things in the community or in the system or anything I'm working with. So that's basically me. So what's yours?
I was a strategic visionary. So I had put in that I was a Ravenclaw. I was a lot more rebellion friendly and a Scorpio. And I think that, to your point, I think Gemini was very well, this is a problem. You are a walking red flag, but let me see how I can make this a positive. It was like, ma'am, you need to put yourself back in a box.
The AI was like, what do we tell her? Just...
Yes, they were searching. But it just said, you just don't fight for a cause. You outthink the opposition to ensure it succeeds. And I thought that was really, I always say, in life, in politics, in life, and anything that I do, it's 3D checkers or 3D chess. And so I'm always having to think 10 steps ahead to know okay, what are the different outcomes that can come from this, and making sure we think of every single worst and best case scenario before I make my first move. So that really did, I felt like it was very on point. There was one thing that it told me that you were like, oh my God, this is hilarious. And I think it was like the Scorpion, you are often composed and focused, but you possess a powerful emotional depth and a sting reserved for those who threaten your ideals.
That is very true.
I thought so too, because I'm one of those that it's don't mess with my people, don't mess with my progress, I am such a loyal person to whatever I'm aligning myself to, and those that I align myself to, that I will ride at dawn, no pun intended, dawn. but I will fight for those and the purposes that matter most to me, and for better or for worse. And so I thought that was definitely on point. And I just love that it was you are an intellectual saboteur, and it's in a galaxy far, far away, or just at Hogwarts, you'd be one of the library researching the exact structural weaknesses of the Death Star while simultaneously plotting 3 moves ahead. So I thought it was very on point. And that's why I said, I think between your personality and my personality, people should watch out. But I also think it's funny because both you and I use humor as a defense mechanism. So we come on here and we hee ha ha on the podcast, and they were just probably listening to these thinking the hell, this doesn't make any sense. Y'all are 2 dorks on a podcast. No,
especially
it's
last
all
week.
A ruse.
All I got from friends is y'all really talked about Star Wars for 10 minutes. Yes, it doesn't mean when you learn that somebody else that you don't know. I guess that's the cover. You don't really know some people are really into Star Wars or not, and then when you find out, and then you kind of got to be hit them, nudge them, you know what? I'm also into Star Wars too, and that's how that usually starts. You start having conversations about what goes on. So it is pretty funny, but I guess for our sense, well, I guess I'll say for me, I don't think Disney has ever put a Sith in Star Wars that was hilarious. I think that would catch people off guard. And so you're this person's actually very nice to talk to. How can you potentially be a Sith? There you go. And then for your sake, just somebody who's very strategic in building things, and I feel like yours is kind of more of an adventure story, because you like small teams, you do like to change systems, you are looking out for your people and what's going on, and then it's like those small ideas for you snowball into larger and larger like community effects.
I think so too. I think it's really interesting because like I always thought like in another life I was like a princess, like somewhere like very like prim and proper. I am beginning to think more and more that I was like in Connecticut, but I think I'm thinking more and more that like I'm like in another world. Like I was like in leathers, like riding a dragon. Like, and I think like I am definitely not one to like sit in a castle in a tower and just like start delegating from like my like trying to protect my rows and rows of gold linens. Like no, like I was fighting. I was definitely like on the front lines, like at battles somewhere, and that's kind of cool. So I'm fine with it, I guess. I wanted to be a princess, but I'm not.
I mean, it is.
My personality chart says I was like, I can't sit still.
I mean, it is Ash Wednesday, but if we were Buddhists, I guess we would believe in reincarnation. So your past life is someone on the front lines leading from the front and working and then plotting and not plotting, but like coming up with strategy and figuring out how to take over things. And then at the same time, people will give you that reverence because you're like, oh, what was your name, baby? I mean, it couldn't be Lawson. You just I mean, what's your princess name?
I mean, honestly, like I mean, I know that Lawson has it has like Irish, Scottish roots and origins to it. So maybe I was like a Celtic warrior princess in another world and we don't even know it with bangs. I mean, This is all kind of checking out.
It is coming through.
I love this
your
journey.
Ancestors are very proud. That's what it seems like. They're like, look, we got it going still. No matter what happens, no matter what outside life happens, we still got the warrior. Every generation we got to go. So, but I guess to kind of connect the topic to like Texas in general, because we do like to talk about Central Texas. So obviously we know we live in the era of AI, and every day we hear news stories about how AI is going to take such and such jobs. Some facts for everyone online is that, well, Austin and Texas are technically, some people say, are leading the fifth industrial revolution is what AI people like to build about themselves. So obviously UT Austin has a Texas Advanced Computing Center, which is doing a lot in Austin, Texas for AI. San Antonio is doing more so cybersecurity and defensive applications. So kind of things what they were doing already, but pivoting. Recently, the state of Texas did pass, I believe it is how do you pronounce it? The TRAIGA. So the Texas Responsibility Artificial Intelligence Governance Act, the second state to do it since Colorado. And it basically gives AI companies in Texas a kind of guideline on what you can do, what you can't do. And obviously a lot of those same things apply to different aspects in online anyway. So don't go after children. Don't like use it to manipulate people out of money. Don't use it for like behavioral adjustments and things of that nature. And apparently this is something that the current administration did not like. So it was a very bipartisan effort that what came out of Texas that the current administration, Mr. J. Trump, did not like. So it's something that's kind of unique on that end. And then on the business side of things, because I like to call myself a venture capitalist because I worked for one once, but we haven't actually gone into that story. But I am always interested we need
a special segment on just that alone, so we can, and I can just like be here with like popcorn and like sidebar like tangents, like peanut gallery comments, because I mean I think the world needs to know. We need a Diane Sawyer, Barbara Walters tell all. I will be your Anderson Cooper, Don. We'll do a 60-minute edition.
Some tears might come out because I'm repressing a lot of feelings that took place during that time. But it was a very wild. I will say Austin, and I will say this forever. Austin was one of the most enjoying or excitable, whatever the term is, times I've had in my entire life. But it was definitely on a roller coaster because there were things that were going on in work. And in Austin itself, I did not realize was how weird it is. Like they say, keep Austin weird. And you get there, you're like, yo, these people just tripping like every single day. But then you start to like it. And then everything with the government side. But I digress. We'll talk about that. But I do like to keep attention or keep track of like the amount of money. So what I have read is that Texas companies and startups have raised around like $3 billion for AI, since in the last couple of years. And I personally like to use the main three, which is Claude, Gemini, and ChatGPT. I think Claude right now is my favorite AI agent, but there's so many others. I made you a campaign song last year.
You did in 3 different genres.
Oh, it was amazing.
It was awesome.
Song, is so catchy that everybody else was singing it, and they didn't realize the lyrics were talking about you. And somebody was
I
like, "Wait
had
a second."
opponents. I literally had opponents singing the song. I think that for the bit, we should probably put the song up on our Instagram just to like let
Can
people vibe with it. Yes, because it was a moment. And I was just like, this is really catchy. And then I heard my name, I was like, oh, this is my song.
this is me. Is this? And then people were dancing to it, and they were like, "Wait a second, is this about Lawson?" And I was like, "Hey, she has artists on her team that just, musicians are in her corner, so they came up with the song. I didn't want to let them know that I created this using AI, but Suno, I think it's named 11 Labs is another one. Higgins is another one that I like to use, and then basically a lot of the social media marketing and things that I've done over time has just been able to use AI. I mean, obviously, I'm in school as well, so like St. Mary's, is basically trying to fight everything they can to not use AI, and I just figure out ways to get around it. So it's with us. I used it, and I don't. While people say like it is going to remove your jobs, I don't know. I feel like I've gotten so used to using AI that I see how bad it is many times, and I just feel that I can do a lot, but I still need people's help. Well, I don't know. That's kind of my conclusion, base level.
Say, on the flip side of all of that, right? Because I live in an area where we're getting a lot of data centers. And
That's
the
true.
biggest thing from like the ground up is like the utilization of water and energy to do some of these things. Like I know like last time that we talked, we were there is this whole trend going on social media where like you ask ChatGPT to create like a caricature of you based on what they think you do for work. And like at one point they thought I was just a bro. And
Hilarious.
they kept putting me,
Hold
it was
on.
hilarious. Like,
What
I
happened
mean,
to your beard?
I,
You just.
I know I went from beard to bangs. Um, it was hilarious. And it was one of those things I was like, I'd be friends with you and grab a beer with you. But it was not me. And then the next morning I did it again, and it was able to like actually grab like me doing things that like mattered to me. But people were like really upset on like the like advocacy side of like, you were spending so much water and the water utilization just to
That's
do this
true.
trend. Like that's like what are y'all doing? It's not worth it, right? And so there's the extremes on both sides. I think that I just I'm curious to understand like why they can't utilize like recycle the water, or like what the process for like water filtration to like just kind of keep things going like in a cycle versus having to like drain lakes, because there have been stories and reports of how like the federal government is acquiring more lakes to be able to utilize that water to help support some of these centers that deal with AI and cloud-based storage. So I'm interested to kind of see how we move forward, where we are utilizing these systems as better tools. Because I like it when I'm in like when I have like a writer's block, right, where I'm just like I have the idea that I need to get out, but can you please just give me an outline, right? I'm not necessarily using it as like the copy paste for what I need, but at least I have like
Please don't do
somewhere
that,
to
because
start.
people just,
No,
you
it's
can't
bad.
just you can't just copy what ChatGPT gives you, never proofread it, and just paste, unless you're sending an email or something that doesn't
Mm-mm.
really matter. People who use AI start to know when other people are using AI. Like it's not
Yes.
like it was 2 years ago.
No, it's not. And you can tell like some of the words I'm just like the tenses are off and what like you can tell.
Yes.
But I mean, even like social media platforms are saying, hey, do you want AI to create the caption for you? Like AI is
Sometimes I'll be
becoming
like,
so and sometimes you do like it's just really interesting because like I don't use necessarily like I every so often I'll use an emoji. AI loves an emoji. Like
I
Chat
love emojis.
GPT loves an emoji. Like I've gotten back into them, but I'm not necessarily like one to be like I'm not going to replace like a word for an emoji kind of thing. And sometimes Chat GPT like wants to use like the walking man or do other things. I'm like, who does that? Like like who uses this on purpose? Like who scrolls and uses this on purpose? Like, well done.
Well,
I don't know. You're too AI for, I don't know
I
if you
am.
actually do or if you were influenced by AI to do it.
Am AI peeled, as they
Chicken
say.
and
I
egg.
have to plug myself with the emojis. I guess the long story short is that I'm in grad school. I'm in software engineering, and I was in computer and information systems. But I mean, that's neither here nor there. But the thing is that I always joke whenever teachers teach us about methodologies, my question is always, who is this person who created this methodology, and why the hell do I got to learn about it? Like, who are you?
Mm-hmm.
So you can just make up stuff. And I went on ChatGPT and I asked, how does a methodology get to a point? How does a person create a methodology? How does it get to a point where you have to learn about it, or students have to learn about it in school? And as satire, I created my own methodology around emojis called Q Skim Flow. And I created an entire research document about how, and I'll plug myself again, I'm a startup founder, how you can organize your startup and the information that your startup uses, whether it be folders online or your email, in a way that's color coordinated and emoji coordinated. And it encourages the use of emojis as far as like a key. So I created it. And surprisingly, I didn't tell people what I was doing when I created it. So a lot of I guess everything's very organized in our company behind the scenes. So whenever I brought new people on board, they would be like, oh, wow, yeah, I do use a lot of emojis, but everything's very organized. I didn't have the heart to tell them that I made this fake ass methodology and I'm trying to follow it. And then I told somebody this like a few weeks ago, and they kind of was like, huh, that's actually a really good idea. Can you share with me your paper? And so I can kind of copy it for what I'm trying to do with my business. And now, boom, now I have two companies using this emoji heavy methodology that I got from ChatGPT, because ChatGPT likes to use emojis like crazy. So I was like, all right, just turn it into something. You're like, no.
I love that for you. No.
I will also
listen. I'm old school. I guess if you're saying like an emoji is just like a tab, like it's reversible for a tab. Like I'm old school. Like I like Post-it notes. I like tabs. I like dividers. So I guess an emoji would be one of those. Kind of what I'm getting, what you're getting at. And
we hate emojis because ChatGPT is using them, but you can take them and make them interesting. So I mean it was satire, but the satire is spreading. So now maybe, I don't know. My hope is that in 20 years from now,
when the parody becomes not parody.
Exactly. 20 years from now, when some student at St. Mary's University is opening up their textbook, and they see something called how to use an emoji at work, they're like, who the hell is Don Vassar? Wow. And why do we got to learn about this?
Mm-hmm.
So question for the audience. We all use AI. Well, we don't all use AI, but if you do use AI, what are some like non-professional, non-educational things that you've used AI for, whether it be analyzing a person that you just went on a date with, or
yes,
trying to.
We have seen Don's post-date analysis, and it is awesome.
I was curious, or whether it be personality analysis from like various things like we just mentioned. Let us know. You can comment on our videos, and we can go from there. So that kind of covers our AI subject. So the next major question I wanted to ask you is that if you were in the Winter Olympics, what sport would you be doing right now?
Figure skating.
Hmm.
Listen, I am a millennial, and I am from the generation of Tara Lipinski and Michelle Kwan. I watched them religiously with my grandmother. And so I was even telling I was telling my kid the other day, I was just like, they used to show like figure skating outside of the Olympics on ESPN and NBC and stuff like that. Like you could see figure skating all year round. And so by the time that they got to like the Olympics, you had seen them like competing to get to the Olympics. And so it was always like this big deal. I don't know who any of these skaters are now. Like I couldn't tell you a single name of any of these skaters, other than Taylor Swift did like an announcement for the Olympics for the 3 American women that made it to the Olympics. But I'd be a figure skater. They have the coolest outfits. They do like triple axels on a thin razor. Like, I mean, come on. It is the ankle strength.
I'm about to say, you never consider your ankles and your knees? Are you like, I'll be all right?
Figure it out, man. It's ice. What's the worst that can happen?
What's the worst that can All right. So figure skater. So in another lifetime, you would be a figure skater. Is there a second Olympic sport and you're like, yeah, just...
Hey everyone, thank you for coming to our ad break. This is for all the folks that would love to be a part of our 2 Texas Tea podcast in a way such as sponsoring. So if you are interested in wanting to be a part of the podcast and share your information about your business or what you're doing, you can always send us your inquiry or your interest by going to emailing us on our email address right here below, or following us on social media and sending us a message, or checking out our website. So we hope to hear from you soon, and we would love to be able to showcase what you're doing.
You know, again, still a millennial. I watched Cool Runnings. I just want to say, feel the rhythm, feel the ride. Come on now, it's bobsled time, and be like a bobsledder. Like, I just want to go one time.
That would be
I just
fun.
want to feel. I want to feel the rhythm one time. Just
Till
feel
you
like
hit
it'd be
that
cool.
wall, you start spinning out, But the bobsledding looks very interesting. So personally, I think number one would be speed skating. I just think that's a really interesting sport. I don't know about the outfits though. I can't
They
wear no
are
skin tight.
intense. The way
I'll
that
be
they
like, hey y'all, can y'all be some baggy clothes on me? Like I can't be wearing these skin tight. I'm not Superman out here. Maybe if I was in the Olympics, I'd be built like Superman. But at the same time, I'd be a little bit too conscious. And then curling. I mean, I think I feel like today I'll be an excellent curler. Just being there,
I would too. I use a Swiffer. Like nobody else. I know I would be gold. Just hand me the gold medal now. I would be the best curdler ever. Like people are missing out on I can use a Swiffer. I love a Swiffer.
Where's the question?
No grime on my floors, that's for sure.
You said, can you just give me the Swiffer endorsement right now? Like I will Swiffer us to the
Doing
Olympics.
it right now. That's what I'm saying. Like how Swiffer is not a major sponsor for the curdling team, I have no idea. Because hello, it's the same motion. You're just scrubbing, buffering. I mean, come on.
You just put a little
Same
dirt on the
thing.
floor on the ice beforehand, just so everybody who sweeps just gets upset. It's like, what is that? Is that dirt on? And you just follow the dirt into right. I mean, so we know pickleball is all the rage, and I know creating ice would be a lot more complicated than that. But I don't understand why we can't just have casual curling places. I feel like people would love to do that. Just let the stones go. Yeah,
I would join.
Another sport.
Bring your own Swiffer.
Your own Swiffer and just be up there. Oh yeah, by the way, this is a pipe. So if anybody's seen it, it is I got this it was given to me as a present from Cuba. There's nothing in it, so this is still PG-13. So one of these days, it's my Gandalf pipe, so I hold it sometimes. But
I love that.
Snowboarding on the half pipe would be fun, but I do worry about my knees. That. I can't imagine being 10 feet up in the air and having to do a backflip off some ice. Them Olympic winter athletes are just amazing. So that's one. And then what is it? I can't remember the name of the sport, but when you're on skis and you're doing basically a marathon, it's
long distance skiing. Is that it?
Difficult.
Just think about your quads, man. Ooh. You want to talk about knees and quads, and then the wind rash that you probably get. I know that they have full face things, and I get it because it's all of these things are marathons at a sprint's pace. That's insane in the cold. My bones hurt. That's why I want to be inside arena stuff. Except for bobsledding. And bobsledding, you're in a tunnel. No, it's too cold.
What about the skeleton skate?
Thinking about it.
So isn't it skeleton skating when you're bobsledding, but you don't have any protection? You're just on the sled. I just feel like that seems incredibly dangerous. No, you said no.
I want to be inside. Yeah, I want to be inside.
We're not out of it yet. Maybe next Winter Olympics we can, try to get somewhere. I'm going to join one of my things that my family always says, because half of my mom's side of the family is from Nigeria, is that I'm going to one day apply for the Nigerian speed skating team, because I don't think there is one, or a Nigerian bobsledding team. And then because I think the Nigeria would be just so happy that there has somebody they're representing them. They're like, absolutely. We don't know. What is your skill level? It doesn't matter. We're just happy that you're competing. So to say to the audience, if you see me next year or next Winter Olympics, I got gear on and I'm walking into the opening ceremony.
We are going to take the podcast. Yes, we are taking the podcast to the Olympics, and elevating it there. I will be your personal sports commentator, just going play by play of whatever. It's he's running now. He's in the bobsled. They're bouncing around a little bit.
Wait a second. Did he come in 9th?
Love it.
Okay. Well, it was also worth the try, wasn't it? I didn't say I was going to be good about it.
We're here for the vibes.
Exactly.
We're here for the good time.
So I'm going to be out there
opening ceremony. That's what we're there for.
That's the only thing I want, the opening ceremony and the closing ceremony. It'd be nice to win the medal, but I feel like if my training for the bobsled starts like tomorrow is it every 2 years, every 4 years, Winter Olympics?
Every 4 years.
Every 4 years. I don't think I would be. I mean, it'd be the most remarkable. They would write a story about that. Like, man just decides to join a Nigerian bobsledding team, and he wins the silver. Amazing.
Yeah.
So, sky's the limit. So to add also, we do have a San Antonian that is participating in the Winter Olympics. So his name is Boone Niederhofer, and he's from Texas A&M. He's a football player. He's in the 4-man bobsled team. So we don't know we never met you before, but as a Central Texan podcast, we are hoping and for all the success for all of us Central Texas podcast athletes. And if you win a medal, you can always come on to our show. You can come on to the experience, especially.
And we do have another one. She's from St. Mary's Law.
Okay.
She's an online law student, and she's in the Winter Olympics. I can't remember what she's doing. I want to say it's skiing.
Yes.
Her name is Winter.
Yes.
Her name is Winter. I can't remember what her last name is, but I just thought it was so funny. Like, I mean, her parents were such like prophecies because they prophesized this one on like it was so on the nose. So her name is Winter, and she's competing in the Winter Olympics. And St. Mary's Law School, they actually did like a really cute video, like cheering her on and like just congratulating her for making it there. So I thought that was really cool. So we do have some like San Antonio and San Antonio adjacent folks that are there representing the United States, and that is actually really, really cool. So good luck,
guys. Is there an ice rink in San Antonio? There is, right?
There is. There's one that I think there's just the one. It's on the like north side of San Antonio near 281 and 1604. And they do hockey lessons there.
Hey, see, I might be out there. If anybody saw my Instagram post, I'm applying or trying out for the UTSA football team in March. I might just go do some hockey lessons too. It's never too late to follow your dreams.
Strengthen those ankles.
My body's like, hey, are you serious about this? Because we might have to like train a little bit harder than just like 2 weeks. I might have to be in the gym for a little bit longer, but it is what it is. So that is our Winter Olympics segment. So I guess we'll close off with the elections. So as everyone knows,
election.
It is, isn't it not early voting? Did anybody vote yet? Because if you're listening to this podcast, you're not voting.
I have not.
Oh, my bad. So if you were listening to the podcast,
I am an election day voter.
You did say that. So maybe y'all like to vote on election day.
Yes.
So what's your insights on so far in the local and the state races?
I think it's been interesting. I don't necessarily watch regular TV unless it's like I'm catching the news or I'm not actually watching regular TV. I'm streaming a lot of my stuff, right? But the commercials have gotten really intense.
Mm-hmm.
They have it, and to your point, and like kind of like making this a full circle moment, a lot more AI utilization in the production for these commercials have happened. Especially on the Republican side. It's just, let me tell you, the Republican commercials are wild. Like they look like Temu productions of like just like 80s like action movies. Like I'm like, what is going on? Like I don't know what the demographic is that they're trying to like target on the Republican side for these campaign ads, but like it's insane. Like I think as somebody who like is very intentional about brand and campaigns and things like that, like it irks my soul to see some of these ads. Because it's such a juxtaposition to like the Democratic side where they're like coming out and like birds are chirping and everything is like warm lit and like golden hour and family and kumbaya, and I'm like, what is going on? So it's been interesting to see the commercials this time around. It is a saturated ballot. Mm-hmm. There's a lot going on. In San Antonio, we have all the judges races, our county judge race for this one between former Mayor Ron Nirenberg and Judge Sakai. The debate recently happened with them, saw that.
A little fiery.
It's just been really it was a little fiery. I will say, I think that the biggest like a sticking point for me is hearing Judge Sakai saying things like, I don't even know what Project Marvel is. I only had a 30-minute briefing on it. And for those that like were opposed to Project, I mean, it's just one of those. It's like you put it on the ballot. You are the reason it got on the ballot to be voted for to begin with, and you were in paid political ads, and even put paid political ads into like on different newspaper outlets and print and on print media in support of this. So to kind of backtrack it now feels a little insulting to those that were in opposition of it. And I'm hearing that on my social media of like, what is this? Like, just kind of like the moral compass is swaying wherever the wind blows kind of thing. So I don't think that that's been favorable for him in particular, that he's had some situations happen with like his staff being fired last year and just some HR issues when it comes to his staffing situation as well. Not a great look. So I think that's going to be interesting. Obviously, another high stakes one is the Talarico v. Crockett seat, and what that's going to look like, and what that's also going to do and shake up and at the federal level, like what like that can change and shift so much. Because once we get through this, and obviously we have the general elections, and I think a lot of people are thinking like, who has the best advantage to take out the Republican candidate when it comes to that? Because I think they're going up against Paxton. Yes, no, I can't remember who the Republican is.
No, it's so I heard they're tied right now. Cornyn and Paxton are tied right.
Yes, which is also crazy. So there's a lot going on there when it comes to, I think the Republicans are starting to infight a lot more. This is the first time that we've seen a lot more infighting from the Republican Party than we ever have, which just kind of shows like both parties seem to have seasons of like infighting and
Yes,
incest or incestual fighting, and just kind of like everything. Like there's a lot of internal finger pointing. And so this time around, we're seeing a lot of it from the Republican Party, especially here in Texas. But like I said, I mean, scandals have not. There has been no favor of scandals on both sides of the party. We've had locally with San Antonio, Judge Rosie Speedland. She has been asked to step down right now without pay because she was recently was it like an arrest? Like she got into trouble over like something that happened with an attorney. I think last year, a couple years ago. Of course, all this starts coming out during election season. So there's definitely some interesting fire scandals going on. Also, one of the people on Sakai's team, her name is Joanne Ramon. She got a warrant, or there was a warrant sent out to her as part of like some like voting scandal situation. So I think it's not just about the candidates, but who they are affiliating themselves with, and just like what that's going on, which I mean, even full circle moment. So Joanne Ramon, her grandson is the guy that's running against Liz Campos in this election here in San Antonio. So like I said, like San Antonio, man, it is a big, small city. Everybody knows everybody. Somebody's grandkid is going to be, and it's just really interesting to kind of see all this come out, because there's a saying in Spanish that says, tell me who your friends are and I'll tell you who you are. And you're really seeing that, like, that's coming into play when it comes to who's going to be voting for who come this election season.
So it seems like, I guess from the state level, we mentioned like Cornyn is running against Paxton. As an aside, ever since I moved to Texas, man, I've been inspired by Ken Paxton. I was like, you know what? I can just do as much wild and crazy,
light as many matches
as I want, and y'all would still vote for me. It just gives me so much hope that I can just have so much. Because I think sometimes, like, what would my scandals be? Then I'd be like, well, at least they won't be as bad as Ken Paxton. So I think I'd be a good politician. Obviously, we talked about Cornyn last year.
Shout out to his wife. His wife runs for office, and I think that right now she's going to get sympathy votes, because it's like, you had to deal with that for many years. Like, you have my vote, girl. If you can deal with that at home, like, and you can still come out here and have enough energy to do whatever you do here, like, go for it.
This era of politicians. I mean, I've understood that Texas politicians throughout history have always been ones that like skirt laws and ethics and things of that nature. And it's kind of history of Texas. But I think since I've moved to Texas, I've always been like, so Ted Cruz did this and he still won the election next time? I'm like, is a scandal not a scandal? Does it like, do we care anymore? Like, I mean, I don't know why we are so beholden to individuals. I mean, I would understand if you're like a Republican voter, but even then it's like, well, this man has so many scandals behind his belt, I'm just going to support another Republican. Like, I don't have to vote for the same person over and over and over again. Y'all could be like, hey, this is enough. But I guess the line just keeps moving on what is acceptable. So I've always thought that'd be really interesting about Texas politics, Texas state politics in general.
100%. I think people cherry pick when a scandal is worth like determining what their vote is going to be and when it's not. everybody is so hypocritical when it comes to what their Northern Star is for how they choose a candidate. And I think that's
Yes.
kind of crappy. It is some of the most important roles that we hire somebody for, and we don't even necessarily go off of their background. We don't necessarily go off of their moral compass or their character. We literally sometimes go off of how pretty their campaign signs are, or if they knocked on my door, or if I've ever heard of them. There's not enough an independent effort for us as voters to go do our own homework to figure out who the best candidate is to best represent us. There's a lot of selfishness of like me, like, did you come to talk to me? Well,
Right.
you didn't come talk to me, but they came to talk to me, even though that they might be like the worst like option ever. They came to my door, so I'm going to vote for them, right? And that's not necessarily how we should be picking who our next representative should be. Unfortunately, that's just kind of where we are. We did see, I think it was 12,000 voters was here in Bexar County, which is okay, but I mean, we definitely want to see that increase, and I'm hoping that we see a lot of folks go out on election day. Like I said, I like the chaos. I want to sit out in the line. I want to like kumbaya and like kind of like gossip and like in Spanish it's like para, like I want to chismear with like my like the people in line with me while we're like sweating trying to get our vote in. And it's a good opportunity for my son also to see like the civic service, like what we did it. We fought, we stayed in line, we brought our lawn chair, like it's a whole thing. I love it.
It's the whole experience. For Texans, I just want to let you all know that you have a choice. You don't have to accept the politician that's in office right now. All the excuses that I've ever heard in my life about not being able to vote or not wanting to vote, I feel are ridiculous, because I always summarize it as saying rich people's side of town looks the way it does because they vote and they stay engaged with their politician. And that is literally the only difference between maybe I'm saying you and them, is that the fact that they stay engaged and they go to their elected officials and like, hey, can you do this, this, and this, and this? And then not only can you do this, 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 and this, and this, I'm going to check up on you 2 weeks from now, another 2 weeks from now, and another 2 weeks from now until it's done. Whereas there's other sides of town where we complain about living conditions or clean streets or potholes and the things of that nature. And maybe you yourself might be really involved, but there's a lot of people around who are just like, I don't really matter. You know, it is what it is. But if you have that type of attitude, perhaps your section of community looks the way it is because you don't really care and you're not really engaged. Mm-hmm. So that's one of the things that we have to like kind of like talk about, is the aspect of just like voting in itself is incredibly important. And we want you to vote. The election is going on right now. It is the primaries. We know people don't vote in the primaries, but they're incredibly important.
Yep.
So
yes, please go vote. If you want better infrastructure, if you want any type of resources, healthcare, there is so much on the line right now when it comes to Texas politics and public education. It's tough out there, especially for some younger families or just the grandparents that want to make sure that their grandkids have a great, future ahead of them. And if you don't think that there is something that directly impacts you that is on this ballot, then you are wrong. I mean, there is so much. Yes, there is so much going on. We've talked about it from technology to water utilization, energy, education, streets and sidewalks, healthcare. I mean, sincerely, like not just women's healthcare, like senior healthcare, like Medicaid and Medicare are like some of the situations that we're looking at that like they could go away. Social Security benefits can go away. Veteran benefits are actually dwindling. Like they are literally actively passing bills to limit veteran assistances and services and healthcare. Like this is insane right now. So I think that it is just such a critical election cycle for us all to get out there and utilize our right to vote. So please go do that.
Yes.
And have a tea.
So we've come to the end of our third episode. We want to thank everyone for joining us for this episode of the Two Texas Tees podcast. Go to our website at twotexastees.com. Go to our social media, buy some stuff. The piece behind Lawson is up for sale. He said it was like a few $1,000s. So go ahead and go bid on it. We appreciate it. And then we already have like 3 million followers. So we just want to appreciate everyone that supported us. So if you want to be 3,000,001, go ahead and subscribe. We can find our podcast on YouTube, Apple Podcasts, and Spotify. So thank you all.
Bye, guys.
Peace.